Hello and welcome to the final episode of Dystopedia. I'm your host Matt Davidson, and once again I'm joined by my colleague Andrew Hodgson.
How you going, Matt?
Yeah, feeling a bit weird this episode. Andrew, how about you?
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, it kind of feels like we ended it with Snowpiercer, so having to sort of do this one again is a bit weird, isn't it?
Very odd, isn't it? Yeah. And it's been a couple of weeks since then, and it's been Christmas, New Year period as well, so it does feel a bit odd, but as we said in that last episode, it's the right thing to do, I guess, at this
Yeah, we said
stage.
we're going to do it, so we have to, and a big part of me wishes we never said anything and just ended it, but, you know,
No,
it's a bit like our encore, isn't it?
it is, yeah. You want to go off with a bang, I guess, or something like that, but...
No bands ever come on for an encore, do they? Never happens.
No, once the lights go down and they say that's it, it is over. Well, that's what I always thought anyway. But they catch you off guard, don't they? Sometimes.
They do.
But yeah, I think with this fun episode, we'll just kind of like just go through, what we've learnt on this journey together. Very inspirational.
A bit of a reflection.
Yeah. Talk about, some of our favourite episodes or moments of the podcast or ones.
Some wild, wacky adventures we found ourselves in. Some real sticky situations.
Exactly, yeah. Where we've grown and learnt as a person and, gone on to bigger and better things by this experience,
Things we can put on our LinkedIn bio.
Exactly, yeah.
Because ultimately that's what it's all been about.
Absolutely, and then we can come across intellectuals too when we're talking about stuff. We're like, oh, have you read the ones that walk away from Omelas? Oh, you haven't. Oh. Those tools like that,
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess first before we get into the episode, we'll just tell you, what have you been up to over the Christmas New Year period?
Oh, mate. I don't know. I do love this time of year. I mean, to be honest, I don't like all the stresses and that come with Christmas and just having to worry about things and just the trivial shit, the presents and where they're going to be, where you're going to be, who, and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But, once you get through that, I do like that period between Christmas and New Year when you don't know what day it is. Like it's great. You're eating leftovers, laying around watching TV and playing video games, and it's good. We've been away regional with a few friends, and then we decided to stay on a little bit longer, just to the missus and the dog, and we just stayed in a pet friendly motel and waited out the fireworks there. Where we stayed, there were no fireworks. It was quiet as. I think we were in bed by like 10:30. Heaven,
oh, wow.
Heaven.
Yeah.
That's a great New Year's to me these days, Oh,
that's perfect, yeah. Because your dogs can be a bit like sensitive to loud noises too. That's perfect.
Yeah. But in general, I mean,
it's always overrated, isn't it?
New Year's to me, I kind of can't stand all the shit that comes with it. All the New Year's resolutions and all that wank. You're like, what's 2026 going to mean for you, and what kind of a year's going to be? Fuck, I don't know. Let's just fucking get through it.
I've always done New Year's Eve too. It's one of those weird ones where, like, you feel like you have to do something, and then you feel depressed if you don't do something, but then when you're out, then you're depressed that you're out because like, I wish I was at home. It's really bizarre like that.
People everywhere, and it's also that thing of like, if you haven't worked out, I'm very cynical, as you know. It's always like you have to have fun. It's like because you tell me I have to have fun, I'm not gonna fucking do anything. That's kind of the way I am with it,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to. How about I stay in bed and I go to bed early and watch a fucking film? How about that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, what do you think of that, do you? Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. What have you been up to?
Yeah, well, I recently moved places, so a lot of just like packing up and moving stuff, and haven't really
wouldn't you fucking love to do that as a job?
What, being a removalist?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I couldn't think of anything. You...
Imagine getting up every day and that's your job.
Oh, Jesus. I admire them for doing it. I mean, they deserve to get paid well for what they do.
It's good money.
Yeah, but
your
back will be fucked by your 40. Like, I don't know how they do it.
Just moving shit. Oh.
It's a pain in the ass, yeah. Well, the issue when I'm moving into like a terrace kind of thing, and we couldn't fit my queen size bed up the stairs, so then we had to get pulleys out to like do it over the balcony, just things like that.
Problems, mate.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you to help me out, and like, thank God we didn't do it because we got there and been like, oh fuck, I can't move it now. Like, it's been stuck there.
I would have helped you, right?
Yeah, it would have helped me exactly.
But I'm sitting there. I'm glad I didn't have to.
Yeah. I didn't want to put you in that position either.
As the whole the whole Seinfeld episode with Jerry and Keith Hernandez, the helping a man move house is the equivalent of going all the way in the male relationship.
That is very true.
That's home base.
It is. Yeah. That's where you separate, your friends from best friends, right?
That's right. Yeah.
No, it is like that, but...
Who is that?
That was Keith.
What's going on?
He wants me to help him move.
Help him move? Move what?
Furniture.
So, what did you say?
I said yes, but I don't feel right about it. I mean, I hardly know the guy. That's a big step in a male relationship. The biggest. That's like going all the way.
And you feel you're not really ready for...
Well, we went out one time.
No, I haven't moved in a long time. God, it sucks. It's even like this little annoying things, like, you know, you're doing like trips in your car back and forth to the new place, and then, oh, have I got enough for this carload? And oh no, I'll wait for the next. It's just like, oh, it's just annoying, and rearranging furniture and shit. Oh, I'm so glad it's over now. So shit. Yeah, but then other than that, just the normal family Christmas stuff, and yeah, you know, once the new place got set up, just been watching, you know, just chilling out, watching TV, and then waiting to start work on Monday coming up soon. So yeah, they're looking forward to that.
Is the black dog nipping at your heels yet, or is he?
Yeah, he's been all right so far. I think because I've been distracted with moving, so I haven't really have time to think about it too much about work. And
he's not creeping in.
He's not creeping in.
He's not scratching at the door.
No, I think he's been drowned out by the Hawkeyes lager. He kept it at bay.
Actually, should we crack the Hawkeyes lager one final time?
One final time, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we was going on Stonewood for the final episode, but
fuck them. They didn't sponsor us.
Yeah, true. Yeah, cheers, mate.
Cheers for one last time. We are on the Hawks lager.
Very fitting for summertime as well, in the Hawks lager.
It is. It's a good drop.
How good's that?
Oh, fantastic.
And I've got a blatant Christmas present for you. And I thought we'd do it on the podcast so you can unwrap it. And
for me?
Yeah, because it is relevant to a story you said on the podcast. So here is the present. And have a unwrap and let us listen.
I feel like a bit of a prick. I haven't got you anything.
No, that's fine. I don't care.
What's that say?
Bloke.
Bloke.
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, how about that ASMR?
And it's bloke's wrap too.
I mean, I do love that.
Let the listeners know what I got you.
It's a copy of 1984.
Yeah.
So, keen listeners will remember that I met a lovely Uyghur man, gave me an Uber ride home, and I gave him my copy of it, and very fitting. I mean, thank you.
Yeah. We're shaking hands now, but yes.
Put it there, champ.
Exactly. Yes. No, it was fun. I was in Dimmicks something, and I remember that story. I'm thinking, that'd be a really good idea just to give it to you as a present on the podcast, just randomly. But then I kept on forgetting about it, and then I was like, Christmas time would be the perfect one for it. I'm like, better give it soon because we're shutting down business.
Thank you. Well, let's do it. It's a shame we never got to do this one. That's one. If we get into the regret section of this podcast, that's one.
If we ended up resurrecting it, that's definitely be on the list to do.
It will be.
Yeah.
Very daunting.
And I had to double check. You didn't buy another copy of it, did you?
I didn't buy.
No,
that's
good.
That's very thoughtful.
Yeah.
Matthew, thank you.
No worries.
I haven't got you anything. It shows what a prick.
Yeah, I'll just go fuck myself. You know. Yeah. Well, you did. Oh, it was from one of your friends gave us the EMU export a few weeks ago. So I did appreciate that. That was a great lager, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sort of made me want to end the podcast.
Yeah, it's all about the Red Death, wasn't it? Yeah, it gave the Red Kiss of Death to the bloody podcast too. But I guess we're just going to be a bit more of a casual, fun episode kind of thing, and I reckon we'll just go through
I've done no research for this.
Neither have I. I'm just winging it as we go.
It's actually quite refreshing.
It is, yeah. I don't have to think about, I have to structure it this way. I've got to talk about this topic or that topic or the background of this person. Just freestyle it in a way. When someone says to you, what was your top 5 episodes? What comes to mind immediately?
Immediately, I think 28 Days Later's in there. More because of the fact that was one I think I really wanted to do justice. And I think when I think back to that, it wasn't so much the actual movie itself. I think it was the backstory, the way the movie looked now post 9/11, and how the interesting story of it being filmed during 9/11 completely changed the outlook of it, and mad cow disease, all that sort of stuff at the time. I think was very interesting. That's right up there for me. We're doing top 5s, are we?
Yeah, go top 5. Yeah. That's number 1. Maybe just 5. Don't worry about top
5.
Ranking. Yeah.
Oh, look. RoboCop, I think, is definitely in there. I remember having a lot of fun on that one.
That was the most fun, yeah.
Yeah, I remember having a lot of fun on that. I think that might be the episode for most inserts, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, I had so much fun editing that one. That was just ridiculous. There was like 10 of them or something.
It must have been 20 minutes of
inserts. I remember my Audacity, if anyone knows it, Audacity is like the editing software people use to do audio ones, and it has layers, so when you do... My thing went for 2 scrolling pages of layers because it had so many inserts. It was crazy.
Yeah. I remember I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream being the first time, I think, it's almost, it's like transitional. I think because we'd done, that was in the first 4 or 5 we did, wasn't
That was the 3rd episode.
Yeah, I remember the first couple. I thought we were okay. Oh, maybe not FF7. That wasn't great, but
Yeah. Well, that was the one where we felt like we got into a groove a bit. Yeah.
yeah. And it was the first short story, and it was, you'd never read it before, and it was a good discussion. I remember that one being, fuck, okay, maybe this is something we could do. So there was that one. I'm trying to think. Look, I think the Machine Stops has to be in there for the fact that just caught us off, completely caught me off guard. I know it's the same for you as well. That was daunting. It really was daunting, but I did enjoy doing that one.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And number 5, fuck, or a 5th one.
Because we did a total of 38.
38. Yeah. Fuck, nothing's coming to the top of my mind. I'm. You know what? I think Fatherland. I think Fatherland was was that one of our first books that we did?
Yes, I believe so.
I remember that one feeling like a bit of an achievement. That was the first thing, we'd sat there, we'd done short stories, we'd done movies, we'd done TV episodes, but then this was a whole other thing in itself.
Yeah.
So to be able to sort of research that one in a week and produce it, I thought, I'm quite proud of that one.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Yeah, I had the Machine Stops, definitely. Even though it was like at times very overwhelming with the source material and like the in-depth it went to, but it was more like mind-bending how a guy in 1909 wrote this thing and predicted the future of stuff. It was just like... And it was one of those ones where we just kind of picked it at random as well. It wasn't like we thought, oh, this would be interesting. It's kind of like, oh, this one comes up in the search.
It was like, 20 pages.
Yeah,
we should... I don't know if we were thinking... maybe it'll be a bit of a look. There definitely were some weeks there when we do a engrossing film, and it would take for Children of Men, for example, when we're like, fuck, all right, we really did this justice. It's very overwhelming. Like if you're thinking in the example of Children of Men, where every little scene is every little bit, it's almost overwhelming to get it in there. We thought, no, you know what, a nice short story will do. That'll just sort of stop us from getting burnt out or something, and we fucking
next level.
Yeah, Machine Stops. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it was just amazing to read it, and then but then at times it's like when you read like some of the language was very old school. You're like, what's this? What does that mean? What's he trying to infer here? But then when you go in and understand it, you just like, it was, as I said, it was just mind bending. It was unbelievable. Also too, I said earlier, RoboCop. That was so much fun doing that one. It's one of those great in between movies where you can just have fun with it, with the action sequences and the stupid one-liners, but then at the same time, if you want to go in depth and get meaning out of it and critique things of what the society was saying, or what was saying about society at the time, and especially when you read about Detroit and where it was heading as well at the time as well. So I did really enjoy that aspect of it.
I think we've discussed this off air. You know what? I think pound for pound for what we are, if there was any episode that would sum us up, it's probably that one, right?
It is, yeah.
It's because for that right thing, you can laugh at the movie, you can look deeper if you want to. Paul Verhoeven himself is so interesting, isn't he? And then the backstory, as you say, like, yeah, I that would have to be right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
if I was trying to show anyone an episode,
it ticks all the boxes for us, right? Yeah, and when we ranked our favorite Paul Verhoeven stuff, but that RoboCop was my favorite out of the Paul Verhoeven. I think your Starship Troopers, it's nostalgia as well.
Yeah, I can't look past Starship Troopers. In a way, I wish we did Starship Troopers a little bit later.
Yeah, because we could do more justice to it.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that was probably part of the reason why RoboCop was so good too, because I think we explored a little bit more of. I don't think we ever gave Edward Newmeyer, for example, the credit in Starship Troopers. We gave him but in RoboCop we kind of gave him his flowers,
Exactly.
And I think that's part of the reason why that RoboCop one was so good,
Another one for me, I always think about the story sometimes. Like Repentant Harlequin said, the TikTok man.
Yeah,
I really like that one because it was more because at first when you read it and it starts off with civil disobedience and it's jumping all over the shop and thinking, what the hell is this going on about here? And then when it all clicks and about routines and breaking the system and changing it, then you read it again, then it's one of those ones you keep reading and then you're like, wow, this is actually brilliant and really like it's one of his. I think it's his best written masterpiece. That one, Harlan Ellison. Like I have no Mouse and Scream is like it's like 1A 1B, but something about Repent Harlequin it just really it struck with me. I don't know why.
Very clever.
Very clever.
It takes you out of your comfort zone, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. What's the other one that comes to mind? Probably. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I did enjoy Akira to a certain degree. It was more, I liked learning, and same with Battle Royale, where you were learning about the Japanese history and going into like that. Because in the 90s was kind of a prosperous time for the Western world, but in Japan it was a complete opposite. They had their
We're in our bubble. We know nothing else. Right?
exactly, yeah, and there was a lot of fear amongst teachers at the time being attacked by students, and there was that serial killer that some kid. Some like 11-year-old girl killed someone. Remember that as well, and
she cited Battle Royale or something, didn't she?
Yeah, as inspiration and things like that. It was just very interesting to do that history and dive into that, and then also with Akira learning about that generation that grew up after the bomb being dropped, and what they call that the miracle generation, wasn't it? Where they recovered the economy, but then they're still like they were torn between the old Japanese way and this new wave of Western ideals and stuff, and it's like they're lost in between that. I found that very fascinating how they portrayed it in Akira as well.
There's a lot of that bubble growth, and then the kids coming in the 90s and 2000s. They were just a broken generation, weren't they? That promise of work hard, get a job for life, raise a family was the opportunities weren't there anymore. So there's going to be some resentment, right?
Exactly, yeah. And they're disenfranchised as well, yeah.
Yeah, because it's interesting, because from the outside looking in, you look at Japan, it's a hyper-regimented society. Oh, isn't this great? Isn't it a great culture? I mean, they some of the best manufacturers in the world because of that whole Japanese culture. If you're going to do something, you do it properly. That's the way it is. But from the outside looking in, it looks like a perfect society. But when we dug a bit deeper, it's far from it, isn't it?
Yeah, and we learned, and then also too with the hikikomori people that live in they live they isolate themselves and don't interact with society, and it was just fascinating going into that, and then that director who I can't remember his name, sorry, who did Battle Royale, learning about he did that battle for Tora or something was
Tora.
Yeah, Tora. Sorry, Pearl Harbor, and how he survived shelling. He's working as a factory as a 14, 15-year-old, and his factory got bombed, and he just survived. He saw dead body parts everywhere, and very anti-war kind of thing. And he hated the way people glorified it and stuff like that. Yeah. So and he hated how the old generation always blamed the youth for the issues of the society. It's like, well, no, you created the society that it's in. You can make the change, not the kids. So why are you blaming them? Yeah, I like that part of it too.
Yeah,
because when we did that history of it too, because it's very bizarre, because the guy was like 70, 73, and he's like directing around teenagers, but then he related to them better than he did his own people. Yeah, it was very strange. Yeah, and it's a shame that he passed away before the second one got made, and then his son took over, and it was a disaster apparently. Yeah. So yeah, no, I found that aspect of it interesting. So that's what, 3 or 4. One more. I wouldn't say like. It's probably, it's still 2 episodes, but I did enjoy doing the Ray Bradbury There Will Come Soft Rains and Fahrenheit 451. Because reading a second time around, I did appreciate Fahrenheit 451 a lot more. Because we went into, instead of thinking, oh, this is 1984, I went into thinking of its own entity this time. And yeah, I enjoyed reading a lot more, and that Beatty speech. I mean, that sticks with you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm definitely grateful for this podcast for making me understand it, and opening my mind up and having to analyze and having to look at it differently, because I'm the same. I'm not saying I didn't like Fahrenheit 451 when I read it 10, 11 years ago, but it was just a bit meh, like it wasn't 1984.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have to be, right? Like, that. So having to find out about his backstory and the way that, like, the way he wrote Fahrenheit 451 was almost a fuck you to creative control or structure. It was like, I'm like, yeah, I liked it for that. It's made me see the world differently, I think, and I appreciate it for that.
Yeah, and then also too, when both him and Kurt Vonnegut made you appreciate Shakespeare. Like this, you would never have thought that before doing this podcast.
Not at all.
You always thought it was just wank, and to a certain degree, some of it is wank. But like when we did 2RB, not 2B, and then just going through, and then the famous quote from Hamlet, and then going through that soliloquy, and then like the questions he's asking, written in 16 something. You're just like, oh my god, yeah. Oh, it's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, that was that one thing I think from Fahrenheit 451 I took away is perhaps the problem is the whole thing is like we don't. What's the point of Shakespeare? We don't need him anymore. And perhaps the problem is that we don't understand him anymore. Perhaps that's the problem with society. I never thought of it like that.
Exactly.
And I'm starting to realize that. I think that probably is the problem,
Yeah,
we're so far away from what we were,
Yeah, exactly, and just some other ones as well, like just even when we did the ones that walk away from Omelas, just really going into utilitarian logic. Like it's always these things you hear, like these buzzwords like authoritarianism and altruism or whatever it is, kind of thing. But you always hear it, but you never really scratch beneath the surface of what they actually mean. But going into utilitarian logic, that one I found really fascinating about would you sacrifice someone for the greater good and bringing up those moral and ethical questions. And I found that really fascinating too, because you're like, oh, I think I would do this, but when it came to the time, would I do it? I don't know, because I haven't been put in that position yet. Because when it comes down to instinctual reaction, what would you do? Exactly, it brings up those questions, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, if we think of Omelas, that still sits with me now. That one in the sense of like the realizing, oh my god, like it's not easy, but we're all complicit in this. I took it as a slide on Kappas. I took it as a slide on like, but we'll all find a way to rationalize because that's what we do. Yeah. But ultimately, the system kind of relies on poverty, or it relies on
the suffering of someone.
The suffering of someone else, and I think Omelas was like, you couldn't hide from that, could you? You know, and I think the way that was written, that was very clever. Yeah, in a way, I'm glad I read some of Harlan Ellison's stuff before I went into that one, because she was doing a very similar thing, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
In the way it was written.
Exactly, and then I think around that time too, we also did Shirley Jackson's The Lottery. That one was very good as well, because that's one you've always heard about. It's been parodied 1,000 times, but actually reading it and then seeing where it goes from and how, and when we did a bit of research onto those studies that were done about how human nature works, and we follow the crowd, that sheep mentality. And when an authoritative figure tells you to do something, you'll do it, not question it, because it says to do that, even though you're inflicting pain on someone. But because it's from a person of an authority figure, you go along with it. Yeah, and you see how societies get caught up in things like that and just follow. I was just taking orders. Yeah,
it's very hard to break out of that. Yeah,
exactly.
In fact, it goes against human conditioning, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the way that short story ends too, when she was all happy for it to be part of the lottery, but then when it affected her, then it was against it now. Like it just sums up human nature, doesn't it?
It does.
That one was really good. What was one that you thought, oh, I'm keen for it, but then it kind of like went through, like, oh, this is a bit of a slog, or it was a bit of a hard, or it wasn't what you thought it would be, kind of thing.
I've got to say, Escape from New York.
Yeah.
I remember that one. I remember loving that film. I remember watching it again 10, 12 years ago when I was going through like a John Carpenter phase. I was watching all these films. I'd watched They Live. I'd watched that. And I thought, oh, cool. No, I'll give that a watch. I remember liking it. I remember the concept being really cool. Just the way it looked at everything. So yeah, that was a bit of fun. And then I remember being excited about it, like, oh, sweet, Escape from New York. And we did it, I think, the week after Children of Men, which was, I think that was a really good episode.
That was an intense episode, raising a lot of questions as well.
I mean, you'd never seen it. That was one of our first episodes that broke the 2-hour mark, and we were shocked. Yeah, looking at one, I'm like, fucking hell, like this was, maybe we can do this,
Yeah.
But it was that kind of film. But and then we went to that the week after, and it was just a
bit deflating. Yeah.
There was nothing. You were trying to scratch beneath the surface.
It felt like the interesting parts were the backdrop, not the actual substance, was it? Yeah. Like the concept is really cool, and like seeing like New York City as a prison, and people are fighting to survive with their own little territories and neighborhoods. But then it was just about
it was on surface level.
Yeah, it was just like, oh yeah, that's going on. But anyway, back to St. Plissken. You're just like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, Kurt, Daddy. Yeah.
It's one of those that maybe I'll definitely probably watch it again if it is on. But I'll just put the brain to sleep, sort of thing. You just accept it for what it is. It doesn't all have to make a point about society.
Yeah.
But that was a slog, that one. What about you?
Yeah, it was very, very campy. I'd say, because we did it back to back, I'd say 28 weeks later.
Yeah. Okay.
I just found that film frustrating because it was like it was leading up to a really good part, then it kind of shits the bed a bit at the end where it just goes that direction. Because I think 28 days later was just it is, everyone knows what that is. So I just don't think it lived up to the hype of the first one.
No, and it was never
going to.
It was never going to. I will always defend that film because I reckon it's a pretty solid sequel. You haven't seen the third one yet, have you?
No, I haven't. No, not yet.
Lawrence just forgets it was there, and I feel that's wrong. But
But it has one of the best intros. I'll give it that. Oh, yeah.
But
that's the problem. It peaks there.
Yeah. Look, I still think if I look at it through the lenses of the military's approach to the virus, the cold, sort of utilitarian logic. As a sequel, I think it holds its own. Yeah, all right, it's never going to be the first. Nothing. The third isn't the first. You know what I mean? But it's. Yeah, I'll always defend that film. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I think because if it didn't have that 28 weeks or days later badge on it, would you think the same way?
Yeah, I think I would.
Okay.
I think I would. I remember liking it at the time. I remember being like and intrigued about what's coming next. I remember it being very creepy. But even analyzing it again, I was like, I obviously there's some plot holes in it. There's quite a few plot holes in it, but through the lens of the military's cold approach to just trying to destroy a virus and the way that they become hunted in the end and everything, become the enemy, it's like, and it turns everything on its head. I think it holds its own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. What's some like movies, shows, or whatever video games that you wish we did on this podcast? Besides, no, we said 1984 already.
We already said 1984.
What was one thing you'd love to explore, or just kind of like, oh, wish we could have done that, and never rule it out in the future, but you never know. But yeah.
Yeah. It's sad that we never got to do 28 weeks later, because I remember sorry, not 28 weeks.
28 years, yeah.
It's sad that we never got to do 28 years later, because I remember the build up to that, the hype, and it would be a very interesting movie to analyze with some of the shit that goes on in that. You're fucking hell.
Yeah.
But the way where that goes, you just don't expect. But yeah, that would have been interesting.
Well, for me, one that comes to mind is The Matrix. I would have loved to have done that.
Yeah.
That would have been a really good one to do.
Yeah.
It's such I love, like, it's just, it ticks all the boxes, The Matrix, so like what it's saying about, dystopian elements, came out in, like, 1999, the nostalgia of it all, then the
around the Y2K
area, stuff, yeah, and the special effects, and how in depth it goes about, human psychology and what is real, what's reality, and all that stuff. It's just like, it's just so mind bending.
Therefore I am, and blissful ignorance, and that question of, well, if you had the choice, red or blue pill, it's hard to. Well, yeah, it's an interesting thought experiment, isn't it?
It is, and it makes you, because like everyone thinks like, oh, am I living in a simulation? Is this all been predetermined? It? Yeah. I had that thought and feeling about it. I'm like, oh my god, is this all?
Yeah, and it's a logical thought to have, I think.
Yeah. It kind of makes sense in a way, doesn't it?
And would you want to know? There's that whole. Yeah, again, that blissful ignorance question, isn't there?
What was that scene in it where, was it Slifer, the guy that portrays him in the first one, and he's saying, I'm eating this beautiful steak, I know, but then I know it's not real, I know the Matrix is telling me that it tastes like this, even though, how do I know that this is actually what it does taste like in real life, kind of thing. Yeah, it's just that, all those mind-bending stuff that makes you think like, oh god, this is going very layered, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's quite simple on the surface, isn't it? But, yeah, it's asking some pretty existential questions, isn't it? I just had one kind of mind, the Truman Show.
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
The Truman Show would have been a really good. Oh, fuck that! That's aged well, hasn't it?
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, I love the Truman Show. Like, it's just, it was kind of like one of the first movies where Jim Carrey did, where it wasn't comedy based as well, where he played more of a sympathetic, sad character, and
he's had a few of those. I think Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah,
he's very, very good in that. Again, that would have been an interesting one to do on here.
Another one, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to think some others. I guess because we kind of veered away from video games, because we did Final Fantasy VII and the Wolfenstein series, which was fun. I would have loved to, because I played the Half-Life games, and I thought, that would have been a really interesting one to do, because that's fascinating, that one.
Yeah, Fallout would have been good.
Fallout, yeah,
particularly with the series being out as well.
Exactly, yeah. I would love to have done I was planning to replay Fallout 3 just for an episode for this time of year, but then it kind of just like, never got around to it. And I know with your work schedule and your other life commitments, it's hard for you to put 30 hours into a game or something on in a weekend or something. It's not easy to do that.
Though funny, watching the Fallout series now, fuck, that's good. I mean, that has got to be one of the best examples of video game to big screen. Surely, I mean, obviously, not better than Paul W.S. Anderson's Resident Evil, obviously.
Yeah, nothing tops that.
Yeah. For the box office.
What about Doom with The Rock? That was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
That's hard to top.
Sorry, that was a good example there, yeah. Or Street Fighter.
Oh,
with Australia's own Kylie Minogue.
Oh, and the muscles from Brussels in it. That was just a Tuesday for him, wasn't it? For Bison?
It was.
I'm sorry. I don't remember any of it.
You don't remember?
For you, The day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Oh, that's a great movie.
That's a fantastic movie.
Even the Mortal Kombat one's pretty good as well,
Oh
isn't it?
yeah, there's a new one coming out too. It's got Carl Urban in it.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I think he's playing.
Oh, funny enough, he was in Doom.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I think he's playing. Oh, who's the fella in Street Fighter?
Sub-Zero?
No, not Sub-Zero. The normal guy.
Oh, sorry, Street Fighter.
Yeah. No. It's a Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, sorry. Yeah, Mortal Kombat. Oh, I never really played much of the Mortal Kombat. I just remember
Fuck.
Johnny Cage or something?
I think it is Johnny Cage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck if we got it wrong. No one's listening anyway.
Yeah, exactly. yeah, I think that's the one.
Mm.
All I know is finish him. That's all I know from bloody Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. But yeah, other than those examples, in all seriousness, I think Fallout's a fucking revelation.
Yeah, that one would have been really good.
But I really sat there. I'm like, fuck, I feel like playing New Vegas now.
Yeah, because you never beat it, have you?
No, I never beat it. I started playing it, and then it's a hell of a commitment. It's like 100 hours or something.
Oh, not necessarily. Like you can beat it.
Oh, you got to do the side quest and do all the
Oh,
exploring.
you can. Yeah, it's
getting encumbered, but you carry too much shit with you.
Yeah, that's a pain in the ass when it happens. No, but crazy thing about Fallout New Vegas is there's like 6 endings to it, and that's what I loved about it. Is that you could pick what faction you want to follow at the end.
Who did you follow?
I followed Mr. House initially.
Right.
Yeah, I followed him, and you can follow the NCR. You can follow Caesar's Legion. What was the other one? That you can follow like the Nomads as well, and it was so cool. You could pick all this, and then depending what you selected is the way the game ended. It was fascinating.
Mm.
And like I had one of my
Is the Enclave in it as well?
I think the Enclave's in it, and the Brotherhood of Steel, right? Yeah.
I fucking love the Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Yeah. But the one that with New Vegas, the one that stood out with me is I think it's called Vault 11, and it was this thought experiment where, so what happens was in the vault, a president gets elected every year, and then they have to vote on the next president because then once that president gets voted, they gets assassinated. So every year someone has to be sacrificed for the one thing. And what they found out and then by the time it happened, everyone died. But when they went through and at the end of it, when they went through and thought someone died, and then everyone didn't participate, everyone decided, oh no, we're not going to participate. We'd all rather die than having to sacrifice one person. The simulation said, congratulations, you passed the test.
Right.
Yeah, so the whole point was that human psychology part of it, where everyone just agreed to get along and not partake in the human sacrifice, they would have passed and everything would have been fine. But because of human psychology, they decided to sacrifice that one person because no one wanted to be the one to do it or take that risk to say, no, we're not sacrificing anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it went on for like 200 years. Someone dying like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was when it's revealed, you're like, holy shit.
Some of that Voltec shit is fascinating. Some of the lore and that could have been a fucking 12-hour episode.
That's one of my favorites is when you're playing the game, when you like say you're just walking around randomly and you come across a vault, you're like so excited, like, oh, let's go explore it. What happened in this one?
And
yeah.
You sort of find out the lore, and I mean, I don't know how many hours I've spent just googling like, oh, this vault or that vault or Fallout wiki and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if we'd ever done a fucking episode on the Fallout universe, I mean, that would have been a whole fucking season.
Oh, easy, yeah. It would have been quite overwhelming, to be honest. Yeah. There's so much lore behind it.
Yeah.
No, I remember that when I really got into, especially Vegas, I downloaded, I think it's a Fallout podcast. I remember downloading it, listening to all, like, it goes through the backstory of this vault and that vault and all this stuff. It's really cool.
Fascinating.
Really intriguing, isn't it?
And the soundtrack, a great soundtrack. Yeah.
It's kind of like, if you've never seen or played the games, it'd be very odd watching the show being like, what the hell's going, as in like, it's because it's got comedy in it and it's over the top, but then it's also deep in serious, like, societal issues and the way the world was going towards nuclear apocalypse and stuff.
I reckon it would be interesting if you had no idea. I think it holds up.
Oh, yeah, it does, but you would initially be thinking, what's going on here? Like, if you didn't have any, it can't be, that's what I mean. Yeah, you'd be thinking this is a bit silly or a bit weird, yeah. It can be a bit campy at times. Yeah,
that's why we love it.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it, isn't it? Yeah. So, speaking on the dystopian things, I've asked ChatGPT if there's any questions that we could ask each other about this. So, this is what it says here. Did the podcast ever shift your personal views or beliefs? Is anything we did on the podcast change your outlook on something?
Yeah, thinking most notably, I think with the to be or not to be, I think, we've already mentioned it with the Shakespeare thing, the appreciation for him, but also in the think, I've always under the belief that, the world is overpopulated. When in actual look, I believe it is, but it's not the actual in pure human bodies. It's the world can sustain that, but it's the consumption. It's a consumption of us, and therefore, we always tend to blame, or the rich always tend to blame the poor, or that they're these, say in India or China or whatever, they're having too many babies. They should stop having them. So but then the top 10% consume basically all the world's resources trying to go to space or whatever the fuck they do. So it's not the actual. It's not the actual people, it's the system, and I think that was like, well, it's the capitalist system, and as I've said before, it's not. I don't think there's any other. My belief is we're sleepwalking into extinction because there's no other system that's going to work. The whole capitalist system relies on growth, and things becoming obsolete and throwing them out. So we're kind of consuming at a rate that we can't replace, and we're looking for infinite growth on in a world with finite resources. Something we'll have to give it time. So it kind of changed my view on that. It's not the fact that the amount of people, it's the consumption. But I don't think that's ever going to change. But it's interesting. What about you?
I wouldn't say I've changed personal or views or beliefs, but it's made me understand certain aspects and topics of certain genres or discussion points where, as I said before, it'd be something where I know what the word means, but I've never really went into depth about it. Now with this podcast, it may going, oh wow, actually going forward, I wouldn't just say this on a whim. I'd be no, I'd think about it more thoroughly and directly, or think about it more philosophically as well, as opposed to being just oh yeah, authoritarianism and throwing all the isms and Adam, whatever it is at you. I kind of now taking a bit of a step backwards and thinking about it before coming up with my own conclusion, where before sometimes I'd be a bit more, I guess, I wouldn't say flimsy, but you just kind of hear something and you go, oh yeah, that's probably right, or that'll do, but it's actually
you say the word, but you don't really know what it means.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people do that as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And on that, just to interject, I hope if there's one thing that we've done in this is perhaps hopefully simplified for anyone that maybe is sort of, if you're watching the TV and someone's using political jargon or throwing these words out left, right, and centre, you just switch off. I hope in one way we've maybe just purely by us learning and chatting and breaking it down into how it might make sense to us. I hope you've got something out of that. Genuinely, I do. So
yeah, absolutely. Because I always know, because I'm definitely one of the smartest people around. I always get confused by stuff, and it's always nice when you do come across a podcast or a YouTube, whatever it is, and they can break it in layman's terms and make it simplified and make it make sense, which is, hopefully for us, we can tell that to someone.
The point is there, it's the fact that I'm not at any point am I saying we're smarter than anyone else, but I think it's the fact that we put ourselves in a position where we have to learn it, and then by us chatting about it, I hope in some way that's kind of made it relatable,
Yeah, well, the next question on this was what did you hope the listeners took away from the show? And that's coming like that. It sums up perfectly, right? Just you'd hope that maybe even for me, it's just maybe there's something, I've never thought of it that way before, or actually that show or that movie or book was, now you've talked about it, I'm kind of interested to read it myself, or even that someone, one of your friends said to you, you read this book, but I took it this way or that way, and then they're having discussions about it. That's what I like to hear when people talk about that stuff, and or then by them saying that to you, you're kind of I never thought of that way. That's interesting, take that you got from this particular source material. Yeah, I find that part really good as well. Hopefully, people got that out of it. Yeah.
Are there any, we were talking about any things that you thought were going to be really good that was a slog? But let's look at the opposite. Were there any episodes that you thought going into, fuck this, I'm really not looking forward to this, but you came out pleasantly surprised?
I guess, I wouldn't say it was going to be a slog or anything, but I was a bit unsure about Delicatessen. Because I was thinking, this weird indie French film, and it's very quirky, and it's got all that, those kind of that stereotypical French slapstick humor about it. But then I kind of enjoyed the story and really appreciated it.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I was in JB Hi-Fi the other day, and I saw it on sale at DVD there. I'm I was kind of tempted to buy it. I'm that's sick. But I would have never thought to look at that ever before. But then I noticed that pig logo on the thing, oh my God.
See, that's the episode that's in my mind. The thought of me wanting to ask you that question. That's the episode on the top of my list. And I know we were talking our top 5 before. That would have to be an honorable mention. Probably not in the top 5, but it's near enough. It might be 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Because that was the one that I think I watched it the first time, and it was a recommendation from one of our listeners by the name of the Daily Doggies.
Yeah.
And it was I honestly thought it was a stitch up. In fact, I texted him after. I said, "Fucking hell!" I sent a photo. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm watching it. This is a fucking stitch up." But I think you mentioned back to me like, "Yeah, good luck trying to do an episode on that sort of thing." And then I watched it. I did a little bit of research, and I think I mentioned in that episode I took the dog for a walk or something,
And it clicked.
My head started filling with things and angles, and because you have to for the podcast, right? And then watching it again, and I hold that movie quite dear to my heart. I really like that film, and I really take this podcast for making me watch it again or making me analyze it, because it would have been one of those. Oh, fuck off! I'm never watching that again.
Yeah.
What a load of shit that was. But no, it's a very, very well put together piece of work, and it's quite a charming film.
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of it feels a bit of a timeless film as well. Like,
Yeah.
it felt like the setting could be, in the 50s or in the future or the present, whatever it is. Yeah, it was. And what the questions was like, at first you said like you think it's some silly slapstick kind of French film, but then I was asking a lot of questions about, was it the food produce, where our food comes from, and the finite resources.
That's certainly what I took from it, like the
Yeah.
whole factory farming angle, and complicity and utilitarian logic, and
they had hordes of food. The guy had hordes of food. The landlord had hordes of food, but then
slight on capitalism. And,
yeah.
Looking at vegan activists and other, and yeah, it did it all in was it under an hour? Oh, sorry, was it under an hour and a half?
It's about an hour and a half, something. Yeah. No, that's definitely that comes to mind when it comes to that one where you're thinking, I'm not that keen for this one, but then you get caught pleasantly surprised watching it. I guess another one would say, I wouldn't say I was like not looking forward to it or anything, but just I didn't know what to expect was when the wind blows.
Yeah,
that was kind of one where you're a bit, it's I think because we did nuclear apocalypse a lot through this series. It was like the fourth one we did or something, fourth or fifth. And I was like, I do enjoy the topic, but it was like, we're doing it again.
Particularly because it's the third time we did Britain's response.
Yeah.
But all very different angles, right?
Different, exactly, yeah. But then going into it and then just seeing, like, I think it's, I preferred it over the War Game, to be honest, because I found it more, because it has that sense of humor about it, and that you can imagine your grandparents being like that and being caught up and just following blindly the rule book because that's what the rule says, kind of thing. While the government lied to me, kind of thing. They're just so ignorantly bliss, whatever it is, ignorance is bliss, kind of mentality.
I think we all saw our grandparents in that, didn't we?
Yeah,
and parents really.
Yeah, and then also too, people being caught up in the. You always you said in the episode, like, Britain's always a war behind, and they're romanticizing the World War II responses when he's imagining Monty on the tanks and Churchill giving his speeches, and it was great fun. We were in our bunkers.
Wasn't Stalin a good bloke?
Uncle Joe, yeah. And they were more assertive back then, and they were good leaders. And
we're all friends, and everyone got on.
And everyone got on, yeah.
We all beat the bad guy Hitler, and
exactly. Yeah. But then how they're, remember we were in our bunkers and we were under we had a cubby house, and they were imagining it like that. It's a completely different game now. They don't understand it. It's not computing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just seeing them slowly deteriorate and like fade away. It was it's kind of it was like sad and depressing, but then also like it was just that's what happens when you meddle with the nuclear weapons kind of thing, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah, it was a very, very interesting interpretation on it.
Yeah, and I guess another film that, and you suggested it as well, it was Gattaca, because it was as I said in the episode, when you hear Gattaca, you just assume it's some like B grade sci-fi on the USS Gattaca or something like that. But then no, that one was kind of like a good metaphor for life, isn't it? Kind of thing. Yeah, how it's not just because someone tells you that you can't do things doesn't mean you can always overcome the obstacles, and they've a society where everything's been designed down to the chromosome or gene of the person. And if you don't fit the mold, then you're not even worth bothering. You're not even worth to lace up the boots of people within the society. And he just proved them all wrong. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, the whole human condition thing, isn't it? And, and the stubbornness and
what was that quote? What was that quote about? They got racism down to a science or something, wasn't it? Yeah. They don't discriminate against your skin color, but about your genes. Yeah, I love that part. That was it was interesting. So, I guess when we first started the podcast, what did you think it was going to be, and how did that change?
I think I mentioned it in the last episode. I jumped on this. It was about this time last year, towards the end of the Christmas holidays, and I was getting that whole, I was having to go back to work. The black dog was nipping at the heels, and you always, when you're going back to work, you get that sense that I shouldn't be doing this with my life. I should be doing something more, and you sort of have this bit of a mini crisis before you got to go back. Well, I don't know if everyone does. I do anyway. Thinking, oh, you know what? Yeah, exactly. Let's do this. Maybe, we always talk about dystopian things. Let's start a podcast. And
It's the great escape.
it's the greatest. Maybe there's a whole community out there, and we can make this our jobs. And I guess that's what I was, rather naively, that's what I went into it with. Look, we had a crack. We probably didn't market it as much as we should have, but that's sort of something dystopian in that when you're using people's data against them,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know, something hypocritical about that, but I guess that's what I envisioned it being. I mean, I don't really know what we were. We sort of started out talking about the dystopian themes and everything.
I'm about to say that's what I thought it was going to be. Like, it would be, oh, this is the movie, the book, the short novel, whatever it is. This is what it's about. Here's a summary, bit of the backstory. Then these are the dystopian elements of it, and break it down from there. But and then we tried that a bit with Threads, I think, initially, and Final Fantasy VII, and then it just didn't flow as well, or it felt a bit.
I think perhaps we probably wouldn't have had much to talk about because we'd probably be speaking about the same themes every week, wouldn't we? Really,
Yeah. Well, then it kind of felt like it wasn't organic or natural, or it didn't flow as well.
Yeah.
So then it was kind of like, yes, so this is dystopian because of X, Y, and Z. And then you're just like, yeah, it kind of just defeated the purpose of it in a way, where it was more like dystopian was what it is, but then take it from what you want from there and go from it.
We sort of took the handbrake off and found ourselves bloody dropping in Shannon Knoll references.
Yeah, Nickelback
and Creed and, all the hits.
And Stay on Target, that was a big one as well.
That was a big one, yeah.
And the random, the South Park Easter eggs going through a couple of them early on.
Yeah,
that was always the way, yeah. I guess now that the podcast is coming to an end, what's next for you, creatively or personally?
I don't know. I'm making an effort to read a bit more now. I always did a little bit before, but I seem to be concentrating a lot more with it. So I'm doing that personally. Look, I think I mentioned it. It's sad that this is ending for me because, as I said before, I thought this was the great escape. I thought this was the way out, but I think reality's hit, and the whole Mark Twain quote comes to mind. Dead at 27 and buried at 72. It's reality's hit, and unfortunately, you've got to take security and
logical choice, unfortunately.
The logical choice and in the
safe choice, I guess.
The safe choice. In the words of Richard Ashcroft, you're a slave till money, then you die. That's kind of what it's feeling with. So look, I don't know. I'm probably just going to take the easy option and keep working on my career and carrying on there. And look, no doubt we probably will do something in the future, and I think it may be something short story related. I think we have to. We might have another crack, we might have another try again, but yeah, I to be honest, I don't know for the foreseeable future what it's probably the boring answer I've just given you. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. I still feel like there's still creativeness in me that I want to do other things, like either like something like YouTube or another podcast, or as you said, like short stories. But I don't know what that is. I don't know how I would start or where to go, kind of thing with it. Do I stick with dystopian stuff, or would I go to a different genre, or like do I go to video games or movies? Like, it's one of those things. Like, it's definitely something I want to attempt again in the future, but probably not for the short term future though. I just want to get a break, think about something else, and go from there, because I do love doing stuff like this. It's fun and it's enjoyable, and yeah, it's better than doing the clocking in at 9 and leaving at 5.
Yeah, it is, and it was. Look, I think we really did give it a crack. Like it was.
Oh, we're consistent for like a good 6-7 months, like properly, like dedicated every week to it. Yeah,
and it's all the after hours stuff. It's the editing, it's the shorts, it's the researching, it's the. It's given me an appreciation for every fucking half an hour episode you see on the TV. The amount of work that goes on behind the scenes in that is.
Oh, even just the podcast you listen to. That's just like, you're thinking. It's kind of like doing it now has opened my mind. I'm a lot more appreciative of people that do it. It's like they do their full-time jobs and then do a podcast consistently weekly, because you just know how much work goes into editing. Like, because people think, it's just an hour thing. You record for an hour and then just upload. It's like, no, it's like the the cutting out stuff, it's adding music, it's
adding the Nickelback clips and Creed clips and South Park clips, and
cutting out the ums and ahs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a lot more. I wouldn't say it's like hard work or anything, but it's more demanding and time consuming than people think. Yeah,
it's finicky, it's frustrating,
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, as I said, never rule out anything. You never know, we could come back to it in 6 months' time or down the track. We don't know. So, if we do make any changes or anything, like we'll continue. If you are following us on Instagram or something like that, keep following us there, and then we might change the name of the podcast or whatever next project we're doing. If you enjoy just us, like, myself and Andrew talking, then keep following us on there, and we'll give any updates if anything changes. So, yeah. So, before we wrap this up, Andrew, any last thoughts or feelings you want to say before we say goodbye to the listeners for one last time?
No, just thank you for all your comments, your recommendations, for listening. Anyone in the future that hasn't discovered us yet, thank you as well. If you want us to any recommendations, keep sending them through there. We may come back. We may come back and do it, but not for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, thanks everyone for listening and sharing and commenting whatever you did, and especially like on some of those comments we got on YouTube as well. Always interesting, like random people just saying nice things, or just have you thought about doing this or that, or I really liked your critique on this, but have you thought about that? And it's just little things like that. I really appreciate anyone that gave a comment or gave us a sub on there.
Yeah, just took the time to listen.
Yeah.
And, there's a few out there that were very dedicated, that were listening week in, week out.
Absolute legends, yeah.
Legends. And I know how time consuming that would be for something that you're probably not necessarily into, but
yeah, and I know a couple of the listeners, like as part of their weekly routine was to listen to us, and now it's going. We do apologise for that, but hopefully you find something else out there to listen to. But yeah, I guess for one last time, on behalf of myself and Andrew, we'll see you around.
See you around.